Hello everybody, welcome to War Thunder. It has been a little while, hasn't it? In this video, I thought I'd fly out the Fokker D.21, which is obviously a Finnish plane, and I am a Finnish guy, so it might be interesting. And I'll give you a little bit of general information and history, because I like general information and history, but not too much. This isn't a history video, this is a War Thunder video, where we try to hopefully shoot down some enemies and such. Gaijin just doesn't want to give me a game apparently, so I guess I'll tell you a little bit about the plane here. The Finnish acquirement of the Fokker D.21 started in the early 30s, when we were looking for a new fighter aircraft, and that was at a time when there was also a very strong majority opinion that Finland should instead acquire a lot of bombers rather than fighters, which sounds stupid in retrospect, but it made sense back then, thinking that striking capability would be the key to victory against Russia if they were to invade us, which obviously they did. So in the late summer of 36, the Air Force made the decision to pick the Fokker D.21, which was compared against, I think, like 6 or 7 other aircraft from various different nations, and the Fokker D.21 was picked for a lot of different reasons that I won't go into here. I might make a full history video on the service of the D.21 in the Finnish Air Force at some point. That could be interesting. We actually found a game. Interesting. Anyway, the government decided that the Fokker D.21 would be the one in September of that year, 36, and the first 7 built by the Dutch arrived in October 37. One aircraft registered FR-76 was armed with wing-mounted cannons, 2 cannons in the wings, along with the 2 machine guns there in the fuselage. And this aircraft was tested along with obviously the 6 others that were armed with this more basic machine gun setup, and the machine guns were deemed to be the better fit out of the 2, so they were picked for the subsequent Fokker series. Initially Finland bought a license for 14 Fokker D.21s to be built, and then eventually we increased that to an endless license, so we could build however many we wanted. And this particular aircraft that we have on War Thunder is a part of the 3rd series of the State Aircraft Factory. You can see Fokker D.21 Series 3, and these were the aircraft registered 97 to 117. And this 3rd series of Fokker D.21s, the first one was the ones bought directly from the Dutch. This 3rd series just about made it in its entirety to the Winter War, which is why we have a historic Winter War camouflage. They all operated in Squadron 24, which had at the start of the Winter War 36 operational D.21s, so a lot for a squadron, but not a lot for an entire nation's main fighter. And historically, this aircraft was in the Winter War deemed an alright interceptor, but not a great fighter-on-fighter aircraft due to some characteristics that don't luckily exist in War Thunder. The War Thunder flight model of the D.21 is extremely inaccurate and makes the plane better than it was in real life. There we go. did a bit of interception there. And over the course of the entire war, so you know, from when we first started acquiring these to the very end, 1945, the Finnish Air Force operated 97 D-21s. The later series differed from these third ones, the series 3 ones. They were kind of worse in many ways. But I won't go into that detail here. Let's try to shoot down some more aircraft, why won't we? That A5M over there is looking pretty tasty. He destroyed my oil tank. No, he just hurt my engine. That's not great, especially because of that other A5M, but what can you do? Right, get some shots, like so. Solid.
Oh, thanks.
Considering the state of the engine on my plane, I think I'm going to just head back home now. Something interesting to note, in total there were only something like 146, I kind of forgot how many, but you know, about 140, 150 Fokker D21s built. So, us having operated 97 of those, 90 of which we built ourselves, Finland, even though it's a Dutch design, Finland built most Fokker D21s. Which is quite an interesting bit of trivia. Kind of a poor landing, but I'm gonna blame that on my concentration being elsewhere. I think it's interesting that even early on in the Second World War, you know, when the Winter War started, it was kind of viewed that the Fokker D21 wasn't any good really against the Soviet fighters. Aside from the I-15, the I-15 was considered outmatched by the Fokker D21, but already the I-153s and the I-16s, which were present in the Winter War, were superior planes. But as I previously stated, I think, if I remember correctly, the D21 was a decent interceptor. It could fairly easily catch the SB-2s, which obviously were the most common Soviet bomber at the start of the Winter War, and it could also catch the DB-3s with a little bit more trouble. But it could do it, and it did do it. We reached something like 120 aerial victories with Fokker D21s in the Winter War, and lost, I think, 12. If I remember correctly, I have the numbers. I do have the numbers, I will just put them up here on the screen, whatever they are. If you are for some reason listening to this video, the numbers are on screen. That's a
Somebody attack him!
light bomber there, K-32.
Roger that!
And then there's, I think, an A5M still left somewhere,
For landing!
which is interesting. Maybe we'll get the next game against the Soviets so we can have some realistic matchups. Finnish Fokker D.21 versus the Japanese Navy is not particularly realistic. Maybe in some funky alternative dimension. I was going to say alternative history scenario, but I don't think our world's history could ever bend to that. So alternative reality it has to be. Can we catch the K-32? Probably not, unless it wants to head on us, which would be nice. Okay, I did my best. Probably didn't get a killing blow on it. Might be easier to catch now though. Yep, looks like it. There we go.
Oh, excellent! On me!
R.I.P. SB.
Attention to the designated grid square!
SB, my beloved. The rear gunner's still alive.
Somebody attack him! Roger that!
That's pretty amusing. Can't wait to see what the teams are consistent of. God damn it. Well, at least the Chinese are against us. They have Soviet planes. Why are you on my side? You don't belong here. Or rather, I don't belong here, as it seems that most of my teammates, all of my teammates are Soviets. Idiotic matchups, guys, and idiotic matchups. But, you know, Gaijin is known for idiotic decisions. Let's play the game instead of complaining, shall we? I feel like whenever I make the decision to talk about War Thunder, either to just a person or YouTube, I just end up complaining. I'm a very negative individual, actually, when I think about it. More inclined to point out negative things than positive things. Dornier 17. That's another plane that was used by the Finnish Air Force. Would make a little history video about those. We only had 15, so it would be a fairly simple history video to make. He's just flying away. I think he might be I just want to gain altitude on me. Okay. I will not stand for that. I will hunt down a Dornier 17 or something. And now he's turning around. Is he coming for me though? Probably. Well, we'll give him what he wants. I can follow him from down here pretty well. Oh, he's actually going for a head-on even though his plane is so weak. catch him. There. With a crit, unfortunately. Due to my own poor aim, of course. Does he want to go over? Yes, he does. Okay. That's fine with me. I am having a serious skill issue, holy shit. I recommend not starting out using the stealth rounds, because you want to get used to how the guns handle. I clearly have not done my homework on that. But by some miracle we seem to still be fine. F-109 down there as well. Is he coming up to face me? Dude, you're gonna run out of energy and stall. And he's run out of energy and stalled. What a fucking tragedy, am I right, fellas? Wow. Easiest kill of my life, holy shit. It's probably someone with 2 hours of playtime. Mark Vartandedorderer or something. Yeah, it's a complete newbie. 3 games. Man has got 3 games. Well, maybe that will be a learning experience for him. Do not just climb into a stall against especially a fighter. Don't do it against a bomber either, but you might not die to a bomber, but you will always die to a fighter if you do that. I wish I wouldn't have expended so much ammunition in that first air battle. That could have been over and done with on the first pass with better aim. And again, that goes for most engagements in this game. A lot of longer battles only happen because one or the other has major skill issue. Heinkel 112 is the more dangerous of the two, so we'll go shoot down that, I think. Unless the Heinkel 51s really want to fight me, which they might. Are you climbing up to face me? I guess you are. Okay. And we go again. Hello Heinkel 112. I am the Fokker D.21 you just fired upon. I am going to kill you now. Goodbye. Or not, because skill issue. But that is okay. We're just going to go away for a bit. Look at the situation. I don't think I dealt any really thoroughly critical damage to him, unfortunately. We'll head on this biplane. There we go. Oh, fuel leak. Have to return to base. What a shame. Hello, Heinkel 51. You're not gonna get your guns on me, are you? No, okay. Goodbye, Heinkel 51. Who knows, maybe that Heinkel 112 will crash into the ground whilst destroying ground targets and net me another aerial victory for this sortie. Which would make it 4. That's pretty good. Most ever shot down with a Fokker D.21 in one sortie was 6. They have a bomber and a bomber, so it's just the Stuka and the Martin bomber left. That's alright. I can shoot both of those down if the game gives me enough time. Creative username FSD FSD SFSDF. Very cool. Love these usernames. I swear, War Thunder has probably some of the worst usernames I've ever seen in video games. Just terrible. Terrible stuff. Then again, it is kind of a terrible game, so I guess it suits it. Does he have a front-facing gunner? Well, we will never find out. Oh, enemy gunner is unconscious. He probably did have a front-facing gunner. Cool. The Finnish Fokker is victorious once again. Game number 3. I was really hoping for a historic matchup this time, but Gaijin did not listen to my wishes. Instead we got Japan, France, us, Finland, and the Soviet Union, of course, teaming up to fight the most well-known allies of the Second World War, the USA and Nazi Germany. Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Great. No better game design out there. Thank you, Gaijin, for this masterpiece of balancing. Anyway, let's try to intercept some bombers like that one over there, I guess, which you probably can't see on the video because it's a single pixel in size. And you know, trust me, there are bombers over there. I think now you may be able to see them. See? Team is probably doing fine with the fighter aircraft over there. I wonder if this guy has learned the magic of rear gunners yet, or if he's too new for that. I don't remember where his blind spot is. I think I can probably start firing. They're unconscious. Okay. There we go. Not a textbook attack from the training of a Fokker D.21 pilot, but it worked. What you would want to do to conserve ammunition and also to maximize your chances of shooting down an enemy is to set up a couple of 100 meters behind the plane, then shoot out the rear gunner, then get really close up to like 50 meters distance, even less, and shoot at the engines until they start to smoke or even better are set on fire. Because, fun fact, without engines a plane cannot fly. So if you do that to both of the bomber's engines, you can be fairly certain that it will go down. And you can just, if you have time, you can follow it around, see where it crashes, but if you don't, then probably someone on the ground saw it. I'm gonna go down there to help the A5M. It seems like he may be in a little bit of trouble. A P400 is a strong aircraft. That A5M could struggle with destroying the P400. Okay, he's destroyed the P400. Let's go elsewhere. S1 Enderman, presumably meant to say Slenderman, but Slenderman was already taken or something. Kind of a bad username. It's not the worst, it's not the worst. It's only Slenderman and then that guy who's on the runway, probably a Dornier 17, left. So, no, I realized I actually got in some talking about tactics there at the end anyway. I think this is where this game is where I'll wrap up the video, because if Gaijin hasn't given me a realistic game 3 times in a row, they're probably not gonna do it on the 4th try either. And I'm going to have to edit down these games anyway. So the video will be quite long despite probably not having too much content. Let's try to get rid of this guy before he cowers back to the airfield to wait out the game. That was a little bit kill steal-ish. But they had only crit him, it wasn't certain that he would go down. He wasn't on fire or anything like that. Anyway, here is the end screen for anyone interested. Thank you for watching this tryout of the Fokker D.21 and a little bit of history alongside it. I guess I have nothing else to really say. Goodbye.
Uraaliin, taakse sen, juoksevan ja kuuluu vinhaläisket tossujen. Miksi niin? Englantiin, uskoi Stalin huokaa hiuksiansa repien. Miksi Suomi kuunnellut ei tiltua ja äitiä?